After an impressive streak of titles using the engine developed by From Software, spanning from the Soul series to Bloodborne and now Elden Ring, Armored Core 6 emerges as a bold departure. It introduces concise, fast-paced missions, generous retry options, and an extensive array of empowering weaponry that unmistakably establishes you as a formidable mechanical force, rather than an underdog. While its streamlined approach does have some minor drawbacks, a high-budget game so resolute in defining its identity in 2023 is a rare gem. The game undeniably exudes the essence of a modern mecha action experience, boasting stunning visuals, a rock-solid and unwavering 60 frames per second frame rate, and an intuitive control scheme that significantly smooths out the learning curve that plagued earlier Armored Core titles. Nevertheless, AC6 does exhibit a few remnants of its old-school design philosophy, notably in its rather uninspiring mission briefings and certain game elements that seem reluctant to evolve. However, where it truly excels is in the most critical aspects: the highly customizable, intense, and frenetic mech battles that will keep players thoroughly engaged. If there's one aspect where the title falls short of modernization, it's in its storytelling department. The 5-chapter campaign primarily unfolds through radio conversations, PowerPoint-style mission briefings, and incoherent combat chatter that becomes near impossible to follow when you're fighting for your life on the desolate mining planet of Rubicon. The experience is further hindered by the fact that our character remains a blank slate, obediently carrying out missions for corporations, resistant factions, arms dealers, or the renowned Walter and his enigmatic agenda. Consequently, despite a promising backdrop and an intriguing premise, replete with hints of hidden motives and questionable allegiances, it proved challenging for us to forge any meaningful connection with the story beyond its surface level. This is particularly regrettable since one of the central concepts of AC6 revolves around a branching storyline where you must decide which faction to align with for missions. One of the notable advantages of this mission structure lies in its ability to offer a wide array of objectives, each catering to distinct styles of play. This dynamic gameplay seamlessly integrates with the exceptional customization facets that form the core of this experience. Prior to embarking on a mission, you're granted the freedom to outfit your mech with a quartet of weapons, each arm and shoulder hosting one. A distinctive head, body, legs, generator, booster, and fire control system. The depth of decision-making surpasses the mere allocation of your limited resources. The external components of your mech each possess unique attributes: weight, defensive capabilities, AP or health, and attitude stability, which dictates how quickly consecutive hits can stagger you. Naturally, high defensive components come with substantial weight, necessitating robust but slower leg components to bear the load. Similarly, hefty weapons mandate the use of larger, more formidable and weightier arm parts. Some weapons demand substantial energy consumption, requiring generators with generous EN, or energy reserves, for equipping. However, this presents a delicate balancing act, as excessive energy expenditure could hamper your energy regeneration during missions. Even before entering the fray, you must consider your preferred combat range to optimize your internal components accordingly, a task that encompasses a myriad of intricate choices. Expecting occasional mission failures is part of the process, and you'll likely encounter them frequently. Fortunately, the checkpoint system exhibits a commendable level of generosity, allowing you to reassess your mech's assembly following each defeat. This feature transforms each setback into an opportunity for reflection and improvement. Achieving the right solution, whether by tweaking your weaponry or undergoing a more substantial overhaul by changing your AC archetype, yields a satisfying sense of accomplishment. However, one minor gripe is the inability to access the shop upon death. If you lack the necessary equipment to overcome your current obstacle, you're compelled to exit the mission, make the purchase, and then restart from the beginning. Stepping into the cockpit, we appreciated the intuitive controls offered by AC6. The learning curve is remarkably gentle. Right and left triggers engage your mech's right and left arm weaponry, while right and left bumpers activate your shoulder-mounted arsenal. A press of the X button initiates a jump. Square enables evasive dodges, and circle toggles your booster jets. Clicking the left stick propels you into a sprint-like assault mode burst, while the right stick's click adjusts your lock-on mode, a seamless interface that immediately enhances the immersion of piloting your own mechanical marvel. We have seen a lot of discussion from long-time Armored Core fans who are not happy about there being a hard lock-on system, with the argument that it lowers the skill ceiling, but From Software has found a really delicate balance with it. If you turn on the targeting assist mode, you gain the advantage of keeping the camera fixed on a specific target, but you're less accurate with your shots. As a result, we found ourselves switching between the two modes frequently, using the targeted assist mode so we wouldn't lose track of a fast-moving boss, and then switching it off and manually keeping it in our sights when it was time to counterattack. Having the hard lock also allows for some really dynamic and intense boss fights that would have been much more frustrating to deal with if we didn't have a way to always keep the boss in our vision. AC6 delivers some seriously demanding boss battles, and Steam reviewers are relishing the challenge. A substantial portion of the player base hails from the Dark Souls community, and as expected, they found plenty to appreciate in this mechanized showdown, despite the absence of those familiar mechanics. In this modern gaming landscape, there's also a sigh of relief from some reviewers who are simply grateful that the game doesn't suffer from crippling bugs or unfinished features. Thank goodness to have a complete, fully realized, non-early access and devoid of microtransactions FromSoft title, reads one particularly appreciative review. However, not all Steam players are singing the game's praises. Some players still perceive AC6 as overly monotonous and repetitive. Certain diehard fans are not thrilled with the Dark Souls-inspired changes injected into their cherished mech formula. Newcomers have even thrown in the towel after facing the tutorial boss, citing it as a source of frustration. A few players criticize the game for seeming to necessitate specific loadouts to overcome certain boss encounters, rather than allowing for experimentation or the gradual improvement of skills. Get good, said one of the more playful reviews. Okay at $20 to $30, declared one of the more pessimistic reviews. It's clear that opinions vary widely within the community, leaving many mechanical heads shaking in disbelief. So, is it worth it? Released on the 24th of August, AC6 has an average score of 87 on Metacritic, indicating a positive critical reception. Player sentiment mirrors this positivity, with the game boasting an 84% rating on Steam, demonstrating a strong level of enjoyment within the player community. The answer depends on the player preference as always. Following the launch, the game has enjoyed robust sales, attracting substantial attention from content creators and streamers. Nonetheless, a noteworthy challenge that many of them have encountered revolves around the game's formidable difficulty level. It's tough, guys. Reviewers have voiced their collective judgment on the Armored Core series, and the consensus leans towards a favorable verdict. In essence, AC6 earns its place on the gaming shelf. The game's core appeal lies in its engaging gameplay and ability for players to fine-tune their mechs to align with their distinct playstyle. The action sequences deliver a satisfying experience, and the allure of completing missions never succumbs to monotony. However, amidst the accolades, a minor concern emerges. The narrative framework appears somewhat ancient. Storyline progression primarily unfolds through mission briefings, occasionally woven into high-octane sequences where one's focus remains divided. Nevertheless, in the grand scheme of Armored Core 6's attributes, this narrative quirk appears as a modest blemish amidst an otherwise commendable offering. The absence of a co-op mode left us feeling like the game was missing a vital component. While the PvP multiplayer game mode did offer an additional layer of enjoyment beyond the single-player storyline, it couldn't fully compensate for the absence of co-op play. But when it comes to the core of the experience, mecha-based combat, it unquestionably delivers on the promise of fun. Thank you for watching. That's all for today. Don't forget to cross your T's and square your I's.